Hi, I'm Tina Polish, your functional health coach, and this is my story of mold illness. Many years ago, in a land far away, or so it seems, I was conceived. I was conceived in a home with mold, a father who smoked, and one or both parents unhealthy. So you see, I was doomed from the start according to human terms. But I have a heavenly Father who loves me and created me to help others to be healthy. So I started out with all the necessary things to be his servant: the sickness, the personality, and the want to please him. I was conceived and lived in that house for the first year after birth. My dad smoked in the house and probably in the car. They didn't know too much about those things back then, nor about mold exposure and sickness. I was born having an asthma attack and many more in my life. I had lots of green snot running out of my nose most of my childhood as well, many respiratory infections. Before I started my periods, I threw up every month for a year. Who knew that could happen before? I have never heard of anyone else doing that, but I'm sure that there are some gals out there who did. I was very constipated most of my life. During my teens, I only pooped once per month around my period, and after giving birth as an adult, I had irritable bowel syndrome. I got to a place early in my adulthood that I would get pleuritis and pneumonia several times per year until I was talked into getting a flu shot every year and a pneumonia shot once. I had always had many food intolerances, but I still kept eating a lot of those foods. I didn't know any better. My mom unknowingly did her best to help my leaky gut by giving me things like bone broth and tapioca, but those were things that I could not deal with because of my mast cell activation and histamine intolerance. I forged ahead with the only life I knew and kept getting mold exposure after mold exposure all my life. I still get exposures even now, but now I know what to do to detox it. I also had many broken relationships and much emotional, mental, and physical stress. One year I moved 12 times. One place that I lived in was an old log home that was built in the 1800s. It had a dirt floor basement and was on 100 acres with the river running through the property. I loved that place, even though there were things that I didn't like about it, mold exposure being one of them. That place had a stream beside the house about 20 or so feet away. One year, that stream flooded and filled the dirt floor basement with water right up to the top step. I didn't think much about it at the time, except that my hot water heater was down there and it was ruined. But I started having incredibly bad insomnia. I had always slept like a baby before that. I could not even lay still, much less sleep. I slept in my recliner on watching TV from 8 to 9 p.m. at night. I would not get up, or I would just get up after I'd gone to bed. I'd just get up and I would work on my computer instead of staying in bed to toss and turn that at night. That was a major problem that encouraged my already circadian rhythm to get worse. Before that, I also lived in an old country home that had a stream running through the basement. I think that was how they kept things cool in hot weather. Eventually, after living in many mobile homes known for mold and other environmental toxin problems, and a tent through one winter, I moved into a small home on a mountain in the trees. That is where I really started to get sick. I loved that area so much. I started hiking every day for exercise and fun. Within 3 weeks, I could not even get up and go out and do so. If I knew then what I know now, that home, due to trees being so close to it and the previous tenant not keeping it clean, was very moldy. I even got worse after that. I still didn't know exactly what was wrong. I knew that there was mold in the house and thought that it could be contributing to my sickness, but could not find anything on Dr. Google to say like a diagnosis like mold illness or something. So, because I had become a master herbalist to try to help myself and others, I started treating my symptoms with herbs. And at first, that did help. But as usual, when you are treating symptoms only, they come back and come back worse. Then I moved out of that home and into a fifth wheel trailer. I did not know at that time that you can't take your possessions with you or you will have mold again. That trailer had a design flaw too that caused the mold to get lots of water to drink and lots of food to eat in the wood. That mold wanted for nothing. So we got rid of that trailer and bought another, hoping for a better design. We still had no idea not to take our possessions with us. But, God be praised, I started school to become a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And after I passed the course, I took a continuing education class on mold illness and how to treat it. That was enlightening. I found out that I could not take certain kinds of possessions with, and that is when we embarked on building a tiny house. I bought all new mattresses, pillows, blankets, washer and dryer, electrical appliances, all of that stuff was new. And I washed all of the clothes that we were keeping in borax and laundry soap several times. Everything that could not be cleaned was new. I also started on the detox protocol. I have had lots of hiccups on the way, but I am well on my way feeling like a new me. I walk about an hour every day, even up hills. I feel much stronger. I think better. I'm getting my memory back. I have more endurance. I sleep better, as well as a host of other things that are much, much better. Another thing that happened after I started my detox protocol while we were still in the mold, we went on vacation to Glacier Park camping. I felt so good there. I could not believe it. That is when I knew for sure, without a doubt, that I had mold illness. It was just too bad that I had to go back into the mold exposure for another winter. You too can be helped to get your purpose in life back, feel energetic and strong, and be able to think again, to live the life you lead with gusto like me. There is real hope. Thanks for listening to my story.